Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Is the Why Have You Forsaken Me psalm actually about forsaking? Welcome to the Psalms of my friends, and we're going to be doing Psalm 22 today. And Jesus made the psalm important, perhaps the most important psalm of the 150. So, my friends are in good company. That is, the Psalms are the most quoted part of the Old Testament. And should I say, welcome to the Psalm of Jesus. So this is a theologically important psalm. Why? Because Jesus made this psalm important. So to understand this psalm and its significance, you have to go back to Jesus and even back to the cross. So the Psalms are frequently quoted in the Old Testament is frequently quoted in the New Testament. The section of the Psalms was very frequently quoted in the New Testament. And to get our heads around Psalm 22, we have to notice, when was Psalm 22 quoted? That alone should get our attention, because Jesus only said 7 things on the cross. Father, forgive them. Take care of my mother. I thirst. Today you will be with me in paradise. Into your hand I commit my spirit. And then, my God, why have you forsaken me? And it is finished. Both of these are from Psalm 22. He quotes Psalm 22 twice on the cross. He quotes the first line. He quotes the last line. And I think he assumes that you know all the lines in between. So why is that? Well, he's suffocating at the moment, and he can't give you the other 31 verses. So if you were suffocating slowly, what psalm would you quote twice? Well, today we have the answer from Jesus. So it is a psalm of David about an innocent sufferer. At least that's how it starts. And we can read it exclusively for that purpose. But Jesus quotes it for himself, and it's directly quoted up in Matthew about Jesus 4 times. And then Hebrews quotes it as a direct description of Jesus. So then it will change the focus to heaven and to the character of the Lord himself after we get this thing started. So for us to understand the psalm, we will have to visit Jesus on the cross as he quotes it. So eventually we're going to ask a big question of the psalm. Is the psalm, the Why Have You Forsaken Me psalm, actually about forsaken? So let's read a little bit. I'm going to read 2 verses and just make a couple of comments. Verse number 1 of Psalm 22, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me from the words of my groaning? Oh my God, I cry by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but I find no rest. So notice a few things with me about this. First, it's addressed to God above, the real God. There's no call to authority that is not God himself. This is the real God, the one true God. And I think the psalmist is familiar with God. He says, my God, this is about someone that this is not their first day of coming to the Lord. I think it's a feature of this psalm as well as life to be able to say to God, you are mine, I am yours. And I feel some pretty strong things, which he's going to get to, but it's founded on this relationship of being able to come to him. So you are mine, I know you, but I feel forsaken and far from you. So I'm groaning and I feel unheard. Why are you so far from saving me from the words of my groaning? I'm crying by day, but I don't feel an answer. I'm crying by night, but I do not feel at rest. So remember Jesus in the garden, which is less than 24 hours before when he says this, he says, let this cup pass from me, and the answer is kind of no. So let's not underestimate the anguish of the sufferer, whether that be David, whether that be Jesus on the cross, or whether that be us in our human situation. So this psalm finds many people suffering and crying and groaning and not feeling heard and not feeling a rescue and not finding rest. So yes, if that's you, welcome to humanity, welcome to life, welcome to suffering, and especially welcome to Psalm 22. So You can write this down. The feelings of the opening and the middle of Psalm 22 are not the conclusions of Psalm 22. Jesus quotes the first and the last line for a reason, which I think is, hey, finish the psalm. So let's do a little bit of that today. Verse number 3, yet you are holy, enthroned on the praises of Israel. In you our fathers trusted. They trusted and you delivered them. To you they cried and were rescued. In you they trusted and were not put to shame. So right away in Psalm 22, we find it's not only about this felt forsaking of the first two verses. There's this shift, transition. Yet what? Yet, oh, you're holy. You're enthroned on the praises of Israel. You're God of a whole group of people that have been your people for a long time. In you they trusted. They trusted you. He says it 3 times. What happened? You delivered them. To you they cried. They directed their felt needs and were rescued. They trusted and were not put to shame. They were delivered. They were rescued in this context of holiness and praise and the King enthroned. All right, let me make some conclusions just for today. So come before the Lord today, especially if it's not a day of great trouble for you. So let's have established and developed an ongoing relationship with Him, so that we would be able to say, my God, whether today is a day of felt fellowship or felt forsaking. Make Him yours. We have some new watchers probably from the Charlie Kirk crisis. What would Charlie say? I think he would say, make Him yours. So when trouble comes, let the divots of our knees into the carpet not be unfamiliar. Oh, that they would be well-worn ruts before we feel forsaken and far and groaning and unheard and restless and unanswered. So Jesus finishes this psalm on the cross with its first thought for sure and its last thought. It's finished and everything in between. So is the "Why have you forsaken me" psalm actually about forsaking? Probably not. See you tomorrow.